This video was brought to you by Boxu. Check out the link in the description to get 10% off your snack-filled journey to Japan. This video was also brought to you by all of my wonderful patrons. If you'd like to not only help keep these videos going, but also get a behind-the-scenes look and even help create them, be sure to check out our page. Hey everyone, Gaijin Goomba here, and welcome back to another episode of Which Ninja? The series that looks at media's most popular Shinobitte see which are good and which are bad. Yeah, I know a lot of you been waiting on this one, and you'd probably think based on my review over on the Gaijin Perspective channel of Snake Eyes 2021, that'd be really down on this 80s action ninja, right? Wrong! For as much guff as I gave that movie for being stuffed with dumb 80s stereotypes like katanas are the peak of all melee weapons, guns are weapons for cowards, and my personal favorite, the absolute virtue of utter ambiguous morality, aka honor, Snake Eyes, the character, actually executed a handful of textbook shinobi techniques that utterly surprised me compared to how bonkers the rest of the movie was.
Well, fair enough, but that's a metaphorical drop in the bucket compared to every other iteration of the souped-up soup of the Joes. Snake Eyes' legacy is nearly 40 years old with over a dozen iterations. How can you analyze all that in a 10-minute video?
Well, the short answer is, we can't. With all the research and digging I've been doing into this mute monomi, not only am I 2 weeks late to the party, but the script I had originally planned for this video turned into 17 pages long, equating into a likely half-hour long video, and I've only got so much time a week to work on these. So what I'd like to do this time around is go over Snake Eyes as a whole, his appearance, weapons, techniques, and so on, that have remained fairly consistent throughout the years. Then from there, see how he shapes up to the mountains of research material that I have over historical shinobi. Then for a potential part 2, which I leave up to the patrons this month to vote on, we go over Snake Eyes' individual iterations throughout the years in more detail. Cause yeah, there's around 9 pages of script right there, and what are you doing?
It's the first video of the month, boss. I'm just waiting on that impending Boxu sponsor message to get started.
Dude, why you gotta call me out like that?
Cause it's been literal clockwork for months at this point.
Well, can ya blame me? Look, gang, I know I've been sponsored by Boxu for a while now, and they're still interested in sponsoring videos for the rest of the year. And you better believe that I'm still interested in working with them, because Boxu does exactly what I do here on YouTube. But where I teach about Japan through games and anime, Boxu teaches about Japan through snacks. Like this month's box is a great example, the Moon Festival box, complete with a tricked out black box with swooshy cloud moon decals and 13 different traditional snacks from all over Japan. But more importantly, this box introduces you to the Japanese holiday of Tsukimi, or moon viewing, a festival either in September or October, this year being September, where people put out decorations of pampas grass, enjoy Tsukimi dango, and offer food to the moon to celebrate. What, you never heard about that? Well, all I did was read info right from the cultural booklet that came with this box. Not to mention, there's an entire segment dedicated to teaching Japanese words related to the holiday, and the entire Japanese folk story of the rabbit on the moon also in this book. And with keeping with the theme, the snacks included are very much related to this holiday, with my personal choices from this box being the Setouchi lemon mochi with its gooey tangy flavor, the Kurumi walnut mochi which has a perfect blend of mild sweetness, and the Usagi no Shippo green tea bun, named after the rabbit's tail itself. And these snacks were so good they even had Aki enraptured in their flavor. And that's one of the things that makes Boxu so good. There's so many snacks in each box that they're easily shareable, and trust me, your friends will appreciate it. Heck, I remember I brought a box to my Taiko group a few weeks back, and they keep asking me when the next one's coming in. So if you want to experience Japan not just in traditional flavor, but the richness of its culture, hit up that link in the description and use the code GAIJIN10 to get 10% off your subscription. That's up to $47 depending on your plan. Shipping's free and you can cancel at any time.
So come take a literal bite out of Japan's culture. But while you do that, let's get back on track here. So, bottom line, you mean to say that Snake Eyes, despite being born in the era of bad 80s Asianisms, is actually a superb ninja?
Absolutely.
How though? Cause that seems like a total contradiction.
Well, let's start with the basics. What's Snake Eyes' real name? Yeah, case in point number 1. As we said before, there's rarely such a thing as a well-known good ninja, cause 9 times out of 10, ninja whose names have been mentioned in the history books usually only got into the history books because they were caught, tortured, and executed. Just ask Sugitani Zenjubo, Ishikawa Goemon, and Fuma Kotaro. Snake Eyes' name has been canonically classified in every iteration he's ever been in, keeping his actual identity a secret. Now, case in point number 2, what is he wearing?
Well, there's his classic ribbed visor, but besides that, it looks like he's got a skin-tight suit right out of the Navy SEALs that bleeds from black to blue. Fine, I'll say it. Real ninja wear blue. Granted, this is no Shinobi Shozoku, but it doesn't have to be. This is the 20th century, and a good modern ninja should reflect that. But despite having a far more modern outfit, Snake Eyes still follows the oldest of old Shinobi rules when it comes to night camo. Dark blue to blend in with the night sky rather than black. Still hard as heck to see in pitch blackness, but even harder to see under moonlight. And when you think about it, so many traditional jutsus like the Kano no Jutsu and the Uzurakakure no Jutsu, they're all strategically little more than just trying to hide what remainder of pink skin was exposed from the Shozoku. Snake Eyes doesn't have that problem considering everything, including his eyes, are covered.
There's also the question of flexibility, because something that I've noticed when it comes to the Shozoku is that the areas around the sleeves and pant legs are always tied down with kyahan leggings and teko wrist guards. Usually when it comes to standard clothing in Japan, things like kimono sleeves and hakba pant legs would be both long and wide, allowing them to get caught on things or tripped over. But with the kahan and teko wraps, that problem is evaded. So looking back on Snake Eyes, it makes all the sense in the world that his outfit would be skin tight, because there's zero hindrance of movement. Now all that aside, let's see what kind of heat he's packing. Now according to every wiki and resource I could find on the guy, Snake Eyes at any given time can be found carrying a 9mm Uzi submachine gun, several concussion grenades, at least one combat knife, and an over-the-back katana or scimitar-style sword. And unlike Storm Shadow, who as far as I could tell canonically refuses to use anything but his impractical dual blades and even more impractical / expensive shuriken, Snake Eyes is not above picking up a massive assault rifle and getting the job done. Now granted, these weapons absolutely did not exist in the 12 to 1600s, but there are plenty of time-appropriate equivalents. A fully automatic silenced Uzi would be an absolute dream for a Sengoku shinobi, but for the time they had the flintlock equivalent of the next best thing. The Shinobi reverse-engineered Nigiri Teppo, a pocket-sized, mercury-powered hand cannon capable of firing a pellet or raw explosion with a simple squeeze of the trigger. Though not at all an automatic weapon, still a small firearm capable of easy transportation and easy concealment, just like an Uzi. Cause yeah, for anyone new to this series, let me clarify something about Ninja. Just like Snake Eyes, who was more than happy to pick up a fully automatic rifle and go to town on Cobra if it got the job done, Shinobi were also never above capitalizing on everything from standard Tanegashima rifles to straight up cannons to get the job done. As seen from the Ika Ninja Museum's displays, Ninja used standard barrel rifles, long barrel rifles, hand cannons, mounted cannons, and the above mentioned Nigiri Teppo if the situation called for it. And concussion grenades? Dude, what do you think Horokahiya were? Paper-fuse-ignited clay hand grenades filled with musket powder and occasionally loaded with iron fillings, with instructions on how Ninja created them straight out of the Bansenshukai. As for the combat knife and sword, I think you can all fill in the blanks on those connections.
Alright, let's see here. He became a qualified expert in all NATO and Warsaw Pact firearms, again, a no-brainer for Shinobi of old, and gained extensive experience in mountaineering, demolitions, survival training, parachuting, and infiltration. I mean, this is the very definition of what Ninja did, but let's go down these one by one. Well, considering Japan is 73% mountains, this one should go without saying. A ninja's job was usually the transportation of information from one location to the other, but in order to do that, a decent amount of their travel time had to be spent off-road to avoid suspicion. Therefore, they developed all manner of skills and tools for climbing, dozens of different collapsible ladders, as well as hand exercises to toughen the fingers to grip tightly into soil and stone. Demolitions? I mean, see the above when it comes to Shinobi's use of gunpowder tech. No joke, it's said that throughout the generations of ninja from the 1200s to 1600s, over 200 types of gunpowder were developed for all manner of tools and weapons. Thus, it should only be natural that a classically trained modern ninja like Snake Eyes would be well versed in all manner of explosives. Survival training? That makes up nearly the entirety of what makes a ninja. As we just mentioned, a ninja's job is to relay information from one location to the other, usually taking a path less traveled. You can't really do that if you end up dead in the wild. Thus, so many tricks, techniques, and tools of shinobi are not about combat, but rather survival. Heck, the very words shinobi and ninja have their root in this kanji, nin or shino, which means to endure and survive. So yeah, I think it goes without saying that Snake Eyes should ideally have specialties in survival. Parachuting? Well, give credit where it's due, the Koga Ninjutsu Gokui does tell the tale of the shinobi Genzo Hattori that dropped fire bundles on a besieged castle in the late 1000s via parachuting kite. But like the book itself, this historical detail may be a bit of a stretch. Considering Snake Eyes is a specialist Vietnam vet, I assume parachuting is just part of the job. Finally, infiltration. And I mean, duh, ninja, that should go without saying.
And dude, check this out. Apparently Snake Eyes is the master of the Sleeping Phoenix technique. Quote, when employed, this skill allows him to slow his vital functions to a level that resembles death itself. That's literally the principle behind the Shinobi Kujikiri, though not quite that extreme. Despite the mysticism that surrounds ninja hand signs like the Kuji-in, their purpose was never the summoning of magics, but rather the controlling and relaxation of the body and mind. Dr. Teruhisa Komori at Mie University actually put this technique to the scientific test by having a group of individuals practice the Kujikiri before engaging in a stressful activity, while there was a control group that did not. And it turns out that the group that did execute the Kujikiri had an increase in alpha brain waves, waves associated with positive feelings, and had a decrease in beta waves, waves that are associated with negative feelings. Additionally, the subjects that executed the Kujikiri demonstrated brainwave patterns similar to those who had just woken up or who were lightly sleeping. So while Ninja didn't possess the ability to shut down their bodies almost entirely like Snake Eyes could, their passed down techniques of breathing and gestures could replicate in their bodies a far more controlled, relaxed, and dulled state. Finally, let's talk about Timber for a hot second. Snake Eyes' faithful wolf companion that we can see in nearly every iteration of G.I. Joe. As a shinobi in the 13th to 17th centuries, one of the biggest concerns you're gonna have with trying to eating sneak in the middle of the night is going to be dogs, nature's proximity alarm. So, of course, Ninja had a multitude of ways of dealing with them. Of course, as seen in the Bansenshukai and Shoninki, there were a few tricks here and there about how to take out dogs, but at the same time, there were plenty of techniques Ninja incorporated to befriend canines. Found in the Shoninki under Shisoku no Narai, or Lessons from the Four-Legged Animals, or there is a commonly used technique of feeding them with grilled rice repeatedly beforehand. This is done to tame them and befriend the animal. Based on this, safe to say Ninja knew the behavior of dogs like the back of their own hand, and also incorporated them into their own natural security system. So for Snake Eyes to pick up a canine companion isn't at all out of the ordinary for a classically trained ninja to do.
Huh. So what else is there?
Well, sadly this is where we gotta stop. I told you we had a ton of information on Snake Eyes relating back to traditional shinobi, but whether or not we have a part 2 on this Jonin Joe is gonna be up to the patrons this month to vote on. And by the way, seriously, thank you to all of you who are patrons. Lately, things have been really dicey, but your kindness and support continues to overwhelm me, so thank you for supporting this show. Also, a big thank you to Boxu for sponsoring this video. Again, if you want to get culture shocked in the tongue, hit up that link in the description and use the code GAIJIN10 to get 10% off your sub. We've also got our first ever Otaku Obon coming this weekend over on my Twitch this Saturday at 7 p.m. US Central. So if you're feeling like dancing some Obon Odori to anime and gaming songs both old and new, be sure to check that out. Otherwise, until next time everyone, this is Gaijin Goomba signing out.